Welcome back, everyone. You're watching The Hunt. I am your host, Trish Hunt, and I am really excited to bring our next guest on with you today. His name is Dean Roeper. He is the managing partner of Teel, Roeper Haynes, a commercial real estate firm here in San Diego. But I think even more importantly, who Dean is as a human being is why we're here today. So welcome, Dean. I
Honored
am
to be
so
here.
happy
Thank you.
that you came. You're such a great guy and a dear friend. Thank you so much.
Well, you're gracious.
Thank you.
Honored to be sitting here with you.
So let's talk. I mean, you have a lot going on, a lot of arrows in your quiver, as they say. But let's talk. We've been talking this whole episode really about going from places where you feel stuck, and then what do you have to do to shift that mindset and get into a better state of mind. And I think we all have gone through struggles in life, no matter where we come from. Some of us come from more humble beginnings, but still, you never know what life's going to throw at you. And especially with COVID the last couple of years, it's been a challenging time for people. You are deeply involved with an organization, Challenged Athletes Foundation. You are actually the ride chairman for the $1 Million Challenge, right?
Many years.
So many years. So talk to us about that. How did you get involved? What brings you to it? Why do you keep going back?
Happy to. I would say that, as you mentioned, I've been a commercial real estate lawyer for 35 years. Great vocation, privileged to have lots of great relationships and clients. What that has brought me to, though, is the realization that oftentimes our career is the fuel for our passion, and our passion doesn't necessarily, always coexist just with our career. Yeah. So because of some of those relationships, I was introduced to the Challenged Athletes Foundation about 15 years ago. And for selfish reasons, I ended up participating in the $1 Million Challenge about 15 years ago. Raised money for the cause, very noble cause, but it was a rehab goal for me from a knee replacement. I decided to ride down the coast of California, and along the way I was transformed. I met...
Can you just stop for a second?
Sure.
So the $1 Million Challenge, just to explain to the audience, is...
So it's one of the Challenged Athletes Foundation's premier signature events. It's a fundraising event that is for and with challenged athletes, where we cycle from San Francisco to San Diego over the course of a week, bringing with us
like
a dozen or more.
Miles
It's 650 miles or so, give or take.
Who's counting?
Who's counting?
Especially when you're going to the mountains of Big Sur.
Big Sur is a little bit of a bump in the way. But the privilege is you are, as a participant, as a fundraiser, you're spending a week alongside people who life has handed a different hand. They're in hand cycles. They are differently abled in one way, shape, or form in a physical sense. Yet they have chosen and been enabled to bring sport back into their life. And so the whole goal of the Challenged Athletes Foundation is to have people get back into the game of life through sport.
Very empowering.
Sport should not be a luxury. It should be a birthright. And unfortunately, what happens with a lot of people when they become injured, insurance doesn't pay for a custom hand cycle. It doesn't pay for a running leg. It doesn't pay for the kinds of things that you may need to get back into the game of life through sport. And so the beauty of the organization is it takes folks who may not yet have had that type of life challenge. It mounts us alongside of those folks who are in a hand cycle, for example, for a week, and you end up with a transformed perspective on life.
So what are some of just the mindsets that you've witnessed and been inspired by for these last 15 years that obviously you are extremely passionate about? And I've been fortunate enough to see you engaged with them and just so involved. And even what you bring to the table is just so inspiring.
Well, thank you.
I'm sure that's many years of just being by their side and watching them change and grow.
Yes, I think some of the privileges are that they are friends. They have become friends. We have people in our lives as a family who we met when they were children, 8 years old. A young lady that she and her mom had stayed at our home, year after year for a week when they were in town for one of the CAF events. and she's now an Paralympic swimmer. She's 18 years old. We've kind of watched her grow up along the way, and to be a part of their journey. This is a young woman who lost both legs as an infant in Vietnam, and has transformed those around her as she has had her life journey.
An infant in Vietnam to
Yeah,
Paralympic.
Paralympic athlete, with a phenomenal family who loves her dearly. And along the way, we've had the privilege of being a part of those stories.
Yeah.
The journey that we talked about over the week of the $1 Million Challenge presents you with the opportunity as a participant to really embed in those lives if you choose to. I mean, not everybody does. Some people come for a bike ride and they leave having had a bike ride, but others, I think, become transformed throughout the week.
That is amazing. I mean, the impact that you're making is absolutely just, it's huge, it's immeasurable. Talk to me a little bit about, because when I watch you and hear you talk, yes, you are a great lawyer and you've had a great, run at that, and, many years probably ahead of you for that, but you're at the core a servant leader. You are a man of the people, I mean, you embody people, you listen to them, you collaborate, you try to improve. Is that just something that's always been core for you?
So I will tell you that I watched my parents, who were very much the way you described. I'd be honored to be considered in the same category as they. But I think what's happened is, as I've had the opportunity to be a leader alongside challenged athletes and with others, we've had the opportunity to build a core of other volunteers and use servant leadership principles as the ethos. And servant leadership used to be about wealth or title, and that made you a leader.
Yep.
Servant leadership turns it on its head. The pyramid is on its head, and the leader embodies principles that empower the other people around them.
Yeah.
And in what we've been able to watch with, and I'll use our ride leaders as an example. We've built a core of ride leaders for the Challenged Athletes Foundation, and modeled for them, and now they model for others, this idea of others first. And so it's not leadership with a big hat with scrambled eggs on it.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
It's about leading by serving.
Yeah.
And so that, I think, has emerged more from me over the last number of years because of the people that I've been around.
Well, you're brilliant at it, and you're a great role model for all of us. So thank you so much for all that you do for the Challenged Athletes. If you want to help contribute to the Challenge Athlete Fund, I think you can go to challengeathlete.org.
That's correct.
Right?
That's correct.
And all that is appreciated. So thank you so much to our guest, Dean Roeper, today, all of our guests today. Thanks so much to the crew and to all of you watching at home. Appreciate you tuning in. You've been watching The Hunt.